Baba Jereza, Monjo Shiroja, Baruto, Jemba, Somojo, Banila, Nabata. Pomongamo de Dalaya, Rashi, Tombaya, Daba, Jazo, Dawa, Dene, Sanjay, Sedandamba, Shereb, Samba, Samba, Jabo, Papa Jereza, Monjula, de Keche, Masori, Japo, Poma, Kala, Shiroja, Baruto, Jemba, Somojo, Bajabat. Chidala Baja, Deke Jemamba, Jaju Samba, Samba, Jambo, Baba Jerez, Wonju Jetsu, Dandamba Shere, the Depolan, Deke Jemaso, Sherebo, Rijamo, Rijamo, Makala, Shiroja, Baruto, Jamba, Samoja, Bajaba. The number Tawaja de Pomongabo de Dalaya, Rashi, Tomba, Yanda Bajaso, Sutombo, Tombanya, Susule, Tomanya, Shamaya, Tomanya, Jaso, Jamaya, notation to Wadan, to Jet, and to Jet, and number Shipana, Tombo. Sheripo, the Chu, the Jetoman, the Sayama, Majaba, Mangaba, the Mama, but the Mother, the woman, but the woman, Baka, Mambo, Sheripo, the Travana, Tomanila, Suman, so I meant to German, number ship, and now, men, Lumi Yemesume, Dametime, Romer, Jemechu, Mendomiji, come money, Jigame, number shiba, Kanja, Patoya, Mando, Mareba, Mareba, Sabama, Manakashi, Mankashi, Seba, Patoya, Mendotation, Tungo, Kunjo, Kopatam, Ijimento, Mamoto, Bayamento, Sheripo, the Davona, Jusamana, the Bama, Jerashiro, Japaro, the Jumbotella, the Janet, the Sana, Tapamajeta. Chinjilo Reshindo de Nanyangal and Debatara Chindo Dusuno number Shiva Sanja Tanja Shiroja Paroto Jambadala Tenalana Mambayan Tabazo Bejanju Dungumba Suba Sanje so Tetavana Shiroja Paroto Shimbanga Rapachimang Manamenga Minyamadanya Brajabenga Dungan Jaroto Shirajabenga Minzubena Dabasha Baja de Shiroja Paroto Shimbanga Mambatayata Omongate Gate Parangate Parasang Gate Bote Sova Sherebo Chanju Samba Samba Jambate Shiroja Paroto Jamba Samalal Tenejum de Tengens in the Legend de Jaju Samba Samba Jamba Papa Jerasa Wanjola Leso Shijawa Jana Leso Leso Regibote Tishino Tetishin de Chitra Debatation to Shiraja Paroto Chumbala Chobacha Tetishin Shebana Jessu Chumde Deji Digi Jaka Zenet and the Mashere Buddha Jaju Samba Samba Jamba Papa Jerasa Wanjo Tanja de Bakura the Dalhada Mendal Hamayin. Disache vegete irande chumden de sombala ngomba to taeta omangate gate parangate parasangate bode sowa taeta omangate gate anta parangate parasangate bode sowa taeta omanta gate parangate parasangate bode Taita omangate gate parangate parasangate bode sowa namola cha zalo sanjela cha zalo chula cha zalo jinula cha zalo yunjuma chero jabaruta jambala cha zalo taji de bezedo chidangula omba jeje yunjuma chero jabaruta jambala somayela seji sekando de jabala dana de jana soba medebe chowa de cherando bate shindo taji yunjuma chero jabaruta jambala somayela seji sekando de jabala dana de jana soba medebe chowa Chiran Doba Juja member Juja Shiva Juja Rabba Shiva George Kanke Jetawa Gaba member J member Chaba member Ta member One member Do member Tata the Medic Tobani Shishi Demba Zobe Sanya Mana Jetamba de la Chazelo Jere Tonda Jeju Shiva the Medene Bejana Tawata Demba Jepesu Jebata Shete Jadan de Tele Show Omechu Jin Jeporando to Sonsanje Kunjing Rase Chugrung Zaba Zawalama Languja Tabjet to Sheje Resojo, Sheje Mendo de Japunjaba, Seje Lombo Dabo Jebego, Shejezo de Langujas. The Mevas Doji Jangodo, Mate Chijangombo Jetawa, Tanjiseba, Kunji Chije, Nyame de Goren Janguja, Tasso Sejeta Jilo Roachi. Cholando Loma Jinja Labdos, Lantroba Savaji Labdos, Trova Issues Javaji Labdos, no Jesus de la Mandala Mansola Jefsajo, Jason Jaladan Nasa Pandala Mansola Jefsajo, Tabata Trovaji Labdos, Tujin Rovaji, Ilanuja, Descendant of Bajinja Labdos, Chaja Jimbe, Georgia Mundo, Sendinela, Tava Jinja Labdos, Sanja Gunda Zavala Mala, Kusungo Jimbe, Salon de Melano, Rawan Shabada. Sedan Droba Nyambra Jingelo. Casey, can you offer ma'am that one table and text?
Yes. You say that.
sometimes we don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Okay, so good morning. Today we're going to talk about the it's called the goddess called the Panashawari. Her name actually is in the mantra you can see later. Pishyadze Panashawari. Pishyadze means the kind of like a spirit. She wasn't like a exactly manifest as a form body as a human, but mostly as a spirit. But originally, there was one Bodhisattva, and that Bodhisattva received the samadhi empowerment from all the 5 family Buddha on the top of Mount Meru. She was transformed actually originally one Bodhisattva who transformed one wrathful deity is called Darajana. His body is in green in color, have a 10 head, 1,000 arm, and 32 feet. 32 feet. That kind of a wrathful deity manifests, and that wrathful deity step on the 3,000-fold universe, step on that, and radiate his wisdom body, kind of like a, they have a nature, can say, luminosity, luminate wisdom body as a, all the 3,000 by this wisdom light, all the 3,000-fold of universe purified, cleansing, and then dissolved to the manifestation of that wrathful, and she make the vow to protect the Dharma and benefit sentient beings by form of spirit. And she then manifests as a female spirit with the retinue and traveling to the through the realm. When she was traveling through the realm, many spirit got fearsome because she not look pleasant. She looks fearsome. She looks wrathful. So many spirit got so fearsome. Avalokiteshvara said to the spirit, all those spirits said, don't be afraid to her. Okay, if you take refuge to her, praise to her, offering to her, she will protect you. Avalokiteshvara said to all those spirits. So, and those all the 8 guidance of the spirit as a praising and supplicating to her. Through her own samadhi and meditation, she reached to the state of the non-returning. Above 8 bhumi, and why is we said she reached to the 8 bhumis? Because at that time, purpose, because somebody tell the future. What call this?
Prophecy.
Prophecy. Her prophecy was she will be, in the future, she will be Buddha, name called the precious jewel. So that privacy, specifically privacy of the time and the name of the Buddha is only received to the Bodhisattva 8 or above label, Bhumi, they can receive. So she received that one. And she manifests many different kind of manifestation into the 6 realms. And each, like hell realm, she manifests one being's spirit. In the hunger ghost, animal, human, and many different by different manifestation, she is liberated sentient beings. And in the one point at the top of the Mount Meru, Vajrapani was praising and supplicating to her, and also Vajrapani said to all the spirit, if you praise, praise to her, it's equal to praise to me. Because Vajrapani also really taming the spirit, especially Vajrapani's power is taming the spirit. Then by praising and supplicating to her, she said she will protect, Vajrapani said she will protect those beings who are praising, who are supplicating, and she fulfill whatever their wishes. We will come later, that one as also, some part is we will talk about that one. And one point, there was some Bodhisattva who was in the Naga realm, and his name is Bodhisattva conscious Naga. And that Bodhisattva was harmed by the Garuda, and she tamed the Garuda, and that way even her name is becoming goddess protecting the conscious. Okay, then later there was one retreat place, forest, and she stayed in that forest and residing to the Buddha Midriya's mantra. And because in the forest there's no really fabric you can find, so she made the leaves as a cloth. So that way her name is Shawari. Shawari means the leaf, kind of somebody wearing the leaf cloth. Okay, so Paranashawari, I think it's mainly is kind of like a who wearing the leaves as a cloth, in the forest. And generally, this is belong to the action tantra. Action tantra, there's a 3 family, and this is belong to the lotus family. Also, other Anuyuga tantra like a Sambuddha tantra and what called the Yudhitawa. Yudhitawa is there's a kind of called a magical what called this, like
Union?
No, not or
A knot?
Joining, conjoined.
yeah, magical, I think magical knot or something called Tawa as a cross like this.
Yeah.
So I forgot the name of the English, but there's one also Anuyuga Tantra, and those also in those Tantra mention about this particular goddess. So So then this goddess is a really well-knowingly, I think pretty much everybody knows, protecting from the fears of sickness, disease. Now we have to go back to what is the main causing us to the disease. I think there's a two way to cause us to the disease. One, our imbalance of the element. Unbalanced or imbalance? Imbalance of the element. When our element is not really balanced, it can become problem. Like even the outside, if there's an element is not really balanced, there's a problem come, like all those major disasters come because of the element is no balance, too hot, too cold, so that one. Another one is caused by the spirit. So we have to think this way: why those spirit causing us to sickness, harm us? Because we're disturbing them by many ways. We're disturbing them by different type of cooking smell we created by cooking, or we're disturbing their home by construction. We're disturbing their environment by polluting. So many different ways we disturb them. So I think so there's many ways we get sickness. So lots of disease is caused by, sometimes it's caused by our behavior is the main cause to become later this kind of disease. So one example, I'm not saying all disease is caused by spirit. That is not fair to be blaming to them, But there's one story, Milareva's time. One area, one town, people get some kind of a stomach, runny disease, and many dying. So then they went to see the Milareva and request him to some solution. And the Milareva said, first things, if you want to be free from this disease, everyone have to become a vegetarian, all the town. So what happened was somebody cooking meat. Then meat boil the liquid soup, and it overflowed from the pot and burned on the fire. That smell caused sickness for the spirit, some spirit, local spirit, because the meat burning smell. And they get it when they get the sickness, and they cause us to get sick. So that way, lots of those spirit, lots of time we blame to them, are harmed by spirit, this and that. If you not disturb them, they're not going to disturb you. It's like similar like human being. If you not harm them, they're not going to harm you. Yeah. Most of the time we created the enemy. Enemy is not naturally enemy. We did something, that way they become enemy. Same way the spirit is like that. So I think can say, and all this environment, inner elements non-balanced or outer elements non-balanced is mainly creating by our afflictive emotion. Like even we call the what call this climate change. Yeah, climate change. It's mainly caused by our greedy. Human created this all. So because we never have a contentment, so we want more and more. So that is come from the attachment. Because that attachment, we have a hatred and jealousy, anger, those all other afflictive emotion. So because of those inner negative emotion and outer environment imbalance, creating this kind of disease. So this is like I don't think so, it just reside in the heart mantra can be cure all the disease by that one. If like you go to you get heartburn and doctor said your heartburn is caused by the coffee drinking, then he give you the kind of like a medicine, you know, like Zentek or something. You taking Zentek every day, but same time you're drinking coffee continually, and not going to cure the problem. So that way, if you want to really want to cure this disease, whatever disease we facing, lots of disease coming every year, new disease comes. You know, we cannot stop that one until we stop inside. Make sense? So that way, when it comes to the Dharma, it's not just only changing to the condition for the outside. You have to change inner condition too. Until we change our inner condition, outer condition, we cannot solve the problem. So, like we facing this all the pandemic, yeah. Like right now, COVID is still there a lot. So, by reciting the mantra of the Panashavari alone, can we free from the coffee? There's no guarantee. But if we long-termly work together and try to protect our inner and outer environment, and definitely one day we can free from those diseases. Make sense? By one area, by one nation, by one kind of a group of people doing something, not going to fix this kind of problem. I think we all have to take a step to take responsibility. But mainly this practice of the Panashavari is well-knownly said free from the disease, especially free from the disease, you know. So what I'm saying is, yes, she has the power, can free from the disease, but are we willing to be free from the disease or not? Like earlier I said, you know, if you continually drinking the coffee and you want to be free from the heartburn, it's impossible. The medicine not going to help you. Medicine cannot cure. Make sense? So we have to be step up, willing to step up, take step, and with the practice of the har or other dharma practice together combination, it'll work.
Kimpola, sorry for interrupt you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I think you promoted the wrong Carlos. So could you please promote me as translator?
Oh.
Sorry, I wanted to interrupt you.
Oh, then.
Yeah, I think you promoted the wrong Carlos. So I tried to message you, but yeah, you probably didn't see those messages. So if you could please promote.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, no, I think not. I'm not a translator yet.
Oh. Yeah, I think I put you right now.
Oh, let me see. No, I think that you promoted. No, you're promoted the wrong Carlos. It's Carlos Rincon as interpreter.
No, now I put the Carlos Rincon, not Rincon?
Yeah, it's not Rincon, it's Cubillos.
Oh, there are too many.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, don't worry.
Okay, sorry. So I'm sorry, I didn't see the message. Okay, can you continue, or you need me to wait for you? Because I talked a long time and I didn't put him as a translator. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so and especially since we are facing for last 3 years, yeah, now I think 3 years, this 19, 20, 21, 22, actually like 4 years. of this pandemic, COVID. And when COVID is a start, and Holiness composed this particular text. Actually, this original text was already wrote by Jidin Sumgun. Then Holiness added certain things and make the text that for can practice. So Panashawari. So certain words are wrote by Holiness. Like for here, some of these are. Said, liberating us from the disease of the samsara that never end with the ocean of the great bliss of the both samsara and nirvana. You guide being to supreme awakening, glorious Pamadrupa above at your feet. I think maybe this is Lord Jidasumgun's wrote. So because Pamadrupa is his root guru, Jidasumgun's root guru as a Pamadrupa. So first is pay homage to the guru, because in the Vajrayana, when we're practicing the guru deity, have to practice deity as a inseparable of the guru. Guru, deity, your nature, mind, those are inseparable. They are not separated. Guru as your mind, deity as your mind as a deity, your mind as a guru. They are inseparable. So the reason is first you have to supplicate praise to the guru. So who is the guru? What kind of guru Pamadrupa was? Liberating us from the disease of samsara. Samsara is the full of disease. Because the disease, as earlier I mentioned, all this main disease is caused by the afflictive emotion. Ignorance, attachment, and aversion. They are one of the greatest disease. Long as we have this emotion, we are not free from the sickness. Because sickness means the suffering, yeah? Cannot be free from suffering long as we have the cause of suffering. It's called the afflictive emotion. So that is one of the greatest disease is the afflictive emotion. So like a guru liberate us from this disease, through the Dharma teachings, Dharma guide. That way, guru is there. The samsara that never end means that samsara is naturally never will end. If we think, oh, this one day it will go away. Some physically disease maybe can go away. Sometimes you just wait, you just rest and it go away. Like a muscle pain or certain things, it's go away. But samsaric disease of afflictive emotion never end. It's a continue. Long as we're in the samsara, that disease never end in the samsara. That's why we need liberation. Make sense? So liberate means that continuous end. When that continuous end, then liberate it. So that will never end. With the ocean of the great bliss. Ocean of the great bliss of the both samsara and nirvana. This ocean of the great bliss, both samsara and nirvana, mean the co-emerge wisdom. That co-emerge wisdom is a permanently exists. Doesn't matter you are in the samsara or you are in the nirvana. When come to the inner nature is cannot distinguishing samsaric inner nature is a worse or a nirvana inner nature is a better. Make sense? So that way, that is the great bliss mean that inner nature is talking about. Union of the emptiness and bliss. That is what is great bliss, which is a never end, never exhaust. That way it become a great. Samsara, we have a kind of partial bliss, yeah? When we eat good food, temporarily taste good, enjoy, but it's not going to stay there forever. When we got something new, at the moment you get enjoy, but later you get bored. So, but that this inner nature, that bliss is always be there and never change that. Doesn't matter what kind of circumstance you have, sometimes we have a good circumstance, sometimes we have a bad circumstance, but that circumstance cannot change that inner nature. That is what is mean the primordial wisdom. Yeah. So co-emerge, always be there with you. So that the coexistent within you, even you are suffering miserable like hell beings, that inner nature is still there, not get worse. When you get to the nirvana of the Buddha, that inner nature not become a better. So it never changed. That way is the great bliss of the samsara and nirvana. That is what it means. You guide being to be supreme awakening. So how to get to the liberation is through the awakening. We are deluded. Because of the delusion, we are confused with the attachment and aversion. When we are awake from the delusion, we no longer have aversion and attachment. So we need awake from that delusion. I mean, even we're not totally awake from the samsara, lots of time we feel silly a long period of time. Why I get upset for that? We get like, sometimes we attach so much on something, but later we feel like silly. So there's nothing to attach on that. But at some point, I was really attached on particular. Make sense? So later we will figure out that is really, wise to be attached or aversion. But at the moment, we're not recognizing that one. So even in the samsara, at the point, we will recognize that one. But then when we totally awake from the delusion, then we will see that as a meaningless. So that way, being supreme awakening, so we have the glorious Pamadrupa. So here, glorious means who have a realization of the one-tasteness, or can say non-dual wisdom. We have a realization of the non-dual wisdom that is called the glorious. In the Sanskrit, it's called the Shri. So that is a guru have to be reached to the certain level to can say that is a truly guru. So what's qualified to truly can call the guru is someone who have a realization of the non-dual wisdom. That is and it become glorious one. So Pamadrupa was one of those. So I bow at your feet. So this is to show the respects. Glorious goddess Panashawari, you liberated all other and myself from the infliction of a great harm. When we have taken refuge in you, supreme goddess, you will protect us from all dangers. Thus, I shall write this brief word. So now the second one is a pay homage to the Panashawari. Because Panashawari also here said glorious means that she had that realization of that kind of. So also this is showing us she is not just a worldly spirit. She is enlightened beings. That way said glorious Panashawari. She have a non-dual wisdom realization. Non-dual wisdom realization must have to have enlightened one. Who have a realization of the non-dual must be enlightened one. So she is not just spirit that, we have lots of spirit, but she's not that kind of spirit. She is enlightened beings. Okay. And her name is Panashawari. you liberate all other in myself. It meant that all, like every sentient beings talking about, from infliction of a great harm. So that's what is the great harm, as earlier I mentioned. So you get, mostly we harmed by the sickness. You know, there's a two way to spirit harm you, get sickness, or your own environment elements harm you, get sickness. You know, so she protect us from that kind of harm. When we have taken refuge in you, so only they can help us if we took refuge to them. So we have to take ourselves also step 2. Like if you not listen to the doctor cannot help you. If you want to be totally cured, you have to listen everything what doctor said. In Tibetan, we said that, what called the bossy patient, can say bossy patient, or patient who never listen to the doctor. How to say, in the Tibetan, we call the, it's kind of like a literally translated as a powerful patient. It means that kind of arrogant or never listen to that.
Yeah.
I said, that is a sign to death, because you have no chance to cure because you are arrogant, or because you're whatever, going on, that you're not listening to the doctor. Make sense? So that we're taking refuge mean that saying is I surrender you. I go to under your protection. So protect me. So that means that we have to follow of her guidance. Like when we take refuge to the 3 jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, we have to follow to the Dharma. If we not follow to the Dharma, you didn't take refuge, because you're not following to the rule of the Dharma. Make sense? So by having ceremony and a card, it cannot call you have refuge, vow. You have to follow with that. Like if you get to the government job, you have to follow to the rule and regulation. If you not follow the rule or regulation, you will get fired. You cannot be kept there forever. Same way. If you not follow to the rule and regulation of that one particular one, and so that way when we take a refuge, mean that under your guidance, under your care. If we listen to her, we can cure our disease. If we not listen to her and we want to do continually what we like and still said, asking her to please cure me from the disease, it's impossible. Make sense? So that way we take refuge to the refuge, the supreme guidance. You will protect us from all the dangers. So danger or fears or sufferings. There's a lots of different kind of sufferings, fears, So I shall write this brief words. Those who have purified their mind stream with the Sadhiti initial as described above. So this is above mean is basically, I think somewhere mentioned, or is this talking about the receiving empowerment. There's some said you must receive the empowerment of the Panashawari, or at least you have to have generate the bodhicitta to practice this one. So by what called the purified your mind stream through the what called the ripening empowerment, or purified your mind stream through the generating bodhicitta. But normally this is talking about the receiving empowerment. So because it's already gone there, so that way it's saying is described above mean that one. Should engaging in the approach, accomplishment, and activity of the deity. So these three, that's called, the first is called the approach. Through the approach too, you will accomplish. The approach means that all the sadhana, basically like taking refuge, generating bodhicitta, accumulating merit, accumulating the wisdom and the will of protection. There's a lot of detailed sadhana, recitation, mantra, and those all is called approaching. Like when we practice in the deity, we get closer to the deity. That's called approach. Okay, through that too, then accomplishment means that you become the deity, or you get some certain of a realization or certain of a result from that practice. That is what does accomplishment mean. So approach and accomplishment to, then last one said activity. Then you can perform. These days, people don't want to be approached, people don't want to be accomplished, just want to be directly perform. You know, some people say, oh, just recite this mantra, you become this powerful. Like some people try to do the Zabala mantra and they're hoping to become rich. It's not going to that way. If you want to be truly beneficial from that mantra's power, first you have to approach, second you have to accomplish. Then that mantra will benefit when you recite. Make sense? So that mantra is like the same as an ordering. You only can order if you have an authority. If you don't have authority, you cannot order anything to anyone. Even yourself, you cannot order. Why? Because you are controlled by someone else. Make sense? So since you are controlled by someone else, how you can order to someone else? Impossible. Make sense? So or as a also activity is like a, you know, spending, like shopping. Only you can shopping if you have a money. If your account is empty, how are you going to be shopping? That's called the window shopping. So without the approaching and without the accomplishment and try to performing activity, is it like the same as a window shopping? So this is an order. Why it's called the approach, second is called the accomplishment, and third is called the activities. So those activities will only benefit someone who have this approach and what called the accomplishment. Make sense? So we already talked last week when about the red Tara. You know, lots of people try to do the Kurukula, so then they said, oh, I can magnetize. You know, like people using the magnetize for the, what called this, the metal, what called that? Magnet. So you have to make the magnet to the bring to the metal, magnetize, yeah? If you don't have a magnet, by showing your arm or something, metal is not going to chip on you. So you have to build that quality. So that how to build is through the approach and accomplishment. Make sense? Yeah. Then you can perform the activity of the deity. So what is the activity of the deity? It's like 4 enlightened activities: specify, magnetizing, increasing, and wrathful. Those activities can do if you have an approach and accomplishment. So now it says that at the well-secluded places, it means that no harm from the, it's normally said in daytime, no destruction from the human, nighttime, no destruction from the savage animal. Also, no harm from the environment for your health. You know, so you have to stay place that is no harm from the health, no harm for of your health and no harm of your body and no harm your mind. So that is what it means, the secluded place. You should make your dwelling very pleasant by sweeping it. It means the cleans, must clean. I think if we don't have a clean place, I think Yidam deity, I don't think so they have that much problem. But certain deity, they have lots of retinue, but they are worldly beings. And they get offense. You know, if the place is not clean, they cannot come. So then they're creating problem. I think so. Yeah. But also, I mean, our own purification, cleansing is important. Sprinkling water, it means that after clean, then to put the water to make sure the dust is not come. Strewing flour. Oh, yeah. I mean that then ground is make that put, and so forth. Place image of the goddess, Panashawari, and other ease. So this is called the shrine. As a east direction place, east of the house, or if you have already shrine, you cannot change, but visualizing you are facing to the east. Make sense? That is, you have to think as a, you know, this is then make abundant offering and sit on the comfortable seat facing eastward in the meditation posture, recite. So this one is a little bit, I have a little bit caution on this, because Panashawari, there's 3 of Panashawari. One is a blue in color. That blue in colors, I think the Lord of the family is Akshobhya. So I have to be east. But the one is also yellow in color. I think some different, but in the hour is a kind of yellow in color. So I really don't know. Maybe yellow in the color is so, or so. But there's a 3 kind of a Panashawari. I think this forearm is a yellow in color, but Lord of the family is Amagasiddhi. So that way, if you see later in the photo, the crown of the Panashawari is Amagasiddhi. So I think a little bit different. So I don't know why I have to be east. If Lord of the family in this text is the Amagasiddhi, should be facing to the north, because Amagasiddhi Buddha is the direction of the north. So I don't know this part. You can ask someone. And if you see the Jidasungin in the future, you will ask him. So otherwise, I have no idea.
Maybe next week for Lama Chupa.
Yeah. Yeah. Then it's we have a take refuge. It said in the Buddha Dharma Supreme Assembly, take refuge, awakening through the merit of a practice in generosity and other paramita, may attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. So this is a refuge and Bodhicitta both. So taking refuge, there's a 2 kind of refuge normally used. Generally, refuge of the 3 jewels, Buddha as a teacher, Dharma as a teacher, Sangha as a community. Okay, then called the specifically Mandalas Refuge. So each mandala had their own system of refuge. Here, when we visualize a refuge, then as main object to the refuge should be Panashawari herself. You have to visualize him. She manifests instantly, manifests in front of you. And her body is a Sangha, her speech is a Dharma, her mind is a Buddha. So she is the inseparable of the 3 jewels and your guru also. That, or you can visualize her body as a guru, root of the blessing, her speech as a deity, root of the accomplishment, and her mind as a dakini, root of the activities. You can visualize that way too. But mainly it's a 3 jewel and 3 root of that object to the refuge. That is a Panashawari as a manifest as a form of a Panashawari. She is the embodiment of the 3 jewel or 3 roots, inseparable. So then we have to take refuge to her. That's specifically, I think. And there's you can visualize also refugee tree and palace and those all. If there's a more elaborated, you can do there more elaborated. But the easy way is incidentally she manifests in front of you, and that she is the object to take a refuge. So she is the embodiment of the 3 jewel and the embodiment of the 3 roots and inseparable of the your guru. Okay, so then we take refuge as a take refuge this take a refuge as a or can say a fundamental motivation of the being Buddhism. And in the Lord Jesus said, distinguishing the Buddhism and non-Buddhism as a taking refuge. If you take refuge to the 3 jewel, you are Buddhism. If you're not taking refuge to the 3 jewel, you're not Buddhism. So what did it mean that when we're taking refuge is I want to become Buddha like you. How I can become a Buddha like you is by practicing Dharma. Yeah. So Dharma have to come from the Buddha. Without the Buddha's teaching, there's no Dharma. So that way you need the teacher as a Buddha, teaching as a Dharma. But we cannot figure out our own way because we not have experience. So we have to rely on someone already experienced it on the Dharma. That's called the Sangha community, or in the sometimes we call the Guru. Yeah. So we have to rely on someone who already experienced it one. So those 3 jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, we take refuge. Then second one is since this is a Mahayana, belong to the Mahayana, you must generate a bodhicitta. So what is the bodhicitta mean? That thus merit of a perfection of generosity and other paramita. It means that this is called the action bodhicitta. There's an aspiration bodhicitta and action bodhicitta. When you mention about the action bodhicitta, there always be aspiration bodhicitta, because if there is no aspiration bodhicitta, you cannot have action bodhicitta. So if you read the jewel ornament said, if you lose action bodhicitta, that way you lose the bodhisattva vow too. Then how to restore is restore the action, aspiration bodhicitta. If you lose the aspiration bodhicitta, you lose the bodhisattva vow too. How to restore the bodhisattva vow is by restoring the aspiration bodhicitta. When you restore the aspiration bodhicitta, your bodhisattva vow automatically restore. Make sense? So even you not damage to the action bodhicitta, if you damage to the aspiration bodhicitta, you're automatically damage to the action bodhicitta too. So the reason when here is only mention about the action bodhicitta. What is action bodhicitta mean? The practice of the 6 paramita. So here said merit, generosity, and other paramita mean the generosity, morality, patience, perseverance, mental concentration, wisdom. This 6 paramita is the action bodhicitta. I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of beings. So that's then here's there's a 2 way to accumulate the merit called the impure or called fuel of accumulation and a pure fuel of accumulation. So here first is the impure fuel of accumulation is meditating on the for immeasurable meditation, love, compassion, joy, equanimity. Why is called the impure fuel of accumulation? Because we have to meditate to the impure being, worldly being, loving kindness, compassion. Because Buddha and Bodhisattva, they don't need your concern, they don't need your sympathy, they don't, because they are free from suffering.
We only wishing them to be happy who are not happy. We have to be wishing them be free from suffering who are not free from suffering. Buddha doesn't need to be wished that wish. Buddha is already, called a great bliss, great joy. So you don't have to wish that one. Buddha is already accomplished that one. So who we have to wish this one as a worldly beings. So that way, it's a meditation on the four immeasurable is called the accumulation of a merit based on the impure field of accumulation. Because as a worldly being are impure. Yeah. So meditate on the love. Love means the wishing them to be happy. So start with one individual. It's easy way to start one individual, someone who's close to you, someone who cares about you, someone who did something to you, so someone kind to you. If somebody is really kind to you, you can easily meditate the loving kindness toward to them. Make sense? So meditate loving kindness toward to the first start with one individual, then slowly extend it that one to, then one day you can meditate loving kindness, compassion toward all sentient beings. Then one day you can truly meditate the loving kindness toward your enemy and your child equally. But it takes time getting there. Then compassion means that when you see someone miserable, suffering, you feel you wish them to be free from that suffering. So wishing to be free from suffering is a compassion. Then joy is when you have this structure of a loving kindness and compassion, and any time you see those loved ones as happy, you get joy. Then equanimity means that you need that feeling of the loving kindness and compassion toward to every sentient being equally. Because if you don't have that feeling equal, then your loving kindness can become attachment. You don't want to be loving kindness turned into the attachment. Then it's become a negative emotion. Negative emotion only give you the suffering. Yeah. So, including our own body and our own family, we need feeling like a house sitting. House caretaker, yeah? House caretaker have a responsibility of make sure the house not damaged. Take responsibility. But when your duty is finished, you have no problem to live in the house. Free from attachment. So we need that kind of a mentality, I think, including our own body. We have to care ourselves. But sometimes, because we care so much ourselves, we damage to the other, destroy other beings. That's not right. That's not good care. So this four immeasurable, loving kindness, compassion, and joy. Let's call them. Called the accumulation of a merit through the impure field of. Okay, then here 7 lamb offerings: prostrating, offering, page 5, confessing, rejoicing, beseeching, and supplicating. I dedicated whatever solace virtue I have a gathering for the complete awakening of all. This is called the 7 lamb offering. So for this, if you want to elaborate, just say your heart is like a tent. It's like tent shape. Heart is tent shape. Inside the heart, palm syllable. Radiate the wisdom light from the palm, then from the pure land, Panashawari, and with the retinue, and surrounded by Buddha and Bodhisattva, invite in front of you. It's like a space is completely filled. Then you do the prostration, you do the offering, you do the confess, you do the rejoice, you do the request, you do the dedication, all those 7 lamps to front of this Panashawari field of accumulation. That way it's called the pure field of accumulation. So accumulating the merit based on the pure field of accumulation. As a front of the deity's mandala, we're doing the 7 lamp offerings. Prostration. And also, I mean, this 7 lamp offering is also directly antidote of our 7 different type of afflicted emotions. Yeah. So that way this is called the field of accumulation. So without the field of accumulation, without the accumulation of a merit and wisdom, I mean, we cannot be accomplishing the deity. So approaching means that like including the accumulation, taking refuge, general bodhicitta, accumulation, recitation, mantra, those all is called approaching to the deity. Why we need accumulation? To accomplishing the deity, we have to free from our negative karma obscurations. Yeah, have to be free from obscurations, especially negative karma, karmic obscurations, to see the deity directly, approach. So karmic obscuration is like a cloud, completely covered. So I have to remove that. How to do that one is by accumulation of merit. More we accumulate the merit, we are free from karmic obscurations. Make sense? So that only that way too we can eliminate those obscurations. Then once we're free from the karmic obscurations, then we become a less afflicted emotion. Yeah. Then you have less obscuration of the liberations. Free from the obscuration of the liberations. Once you don't have any more afflicted emotion, you will not create the more negative karma. Yeah. So this way, then we can approach to the deity. That is how we can approach. So that way we have to accumulate the merit. So there's a 2 way to accumulate the merit by a field of a pure, called the pure field and impure field. So pure field means the deity mandala and offering the 7 lamp offering. Impure field means the sentient beings meditating on the 4 immeasurable. Okay. Then here said, so the having cultivated bodhicitta and accumulation of merit recites the following. Said, this means that all the phenomena are primordially completely pure by nature. So this is a meditation on the emptiness. So this is called the accumulation of wisdom. As I think I mentioned this before, there's a 2 way to meditate on the emptiness. And analytical meditation, analyze, then meditate on the emptiness, or forcefully meditation on the emptiness by mantra. So this is through the mantra to meditating, it's like forcefully meditating on the emptiness without the analyzing. So either way, I mean, meditation on the emptiness is the same. Either ways, you have to recognize that nature, pure nature. What is the pure nature? What is the fabricated one? So we have to recognize what is the fabricated, what is non-fabricated. All appearance are fabricated. All our emotions are fabricated. They're not real. If they're real, they never change. In every single moment, they're changing. Why? Because they're not real. And each one have a different feeling. Even we see the same object, each one of us have a different feeling. Because it's fabricatedly come. So that way it's never same. If that's a really truly existent on the phenomena as an appearance, then have to have a same feeling to the everyone who see that one. It's impossible. Make sense? So those are fabricated. Appearance are fabricated, emotion are fabricated. So that way we have to figure out what is the nature one. That is what is mean the meditation on the emptiness. So while meditating on this, imagine after this meditation, like in the empty nature, like space, my consciousness are raising as a yellow palm syllables. So your own consciousness as a palm syllable, this palm syllable is the actually deity of the Panashavari. So that way your own mind and deity is inseparable. It's not what called separate. Then there's from it a light ray radiate and purify the disease and impairment. What is impairment? Like harm, yeah, of all beings. Yes.
If you're impaired, you're like disabled.
Okay.
Yes.
Disease and I think harm can say, particularly all their wrongdoing. Wrongdoing and obscuration in the general. So this is a wrongdoing in the negative karma. Through the negative karma too, we face into the consequences. That consequences is called the obscurations. Yeah. So those are purified by this those all beings, sentient beings. And thereafter the light ray return and dissolve into me. So this is called the benefit of other sentient beings. From this Panashavari is wisdom light, purified every sentient being, and liberated from the samsara, all the 6 realms. Hell, hungry ghost, animal, human, demigod, god realm, all of them are liberated from the samsaras. And thereafter light return and dissolve into the seed sellable palm, which instant they transform into the illustrious one. What is illustrious one?
It's kind of like someone that is so great they kind of glow.
I
want to say, they have a really bright aura because of their wonderful qualities. I don't know if that's that's what I think of.
Think of luminous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The Panashavari, mother of all the Buddha of the 3 times. So why is it all the female as normally used as a mother of the all Buddhas of the 3 times? Female as a symbol of the wisdom. Without the wisdom, no one can become a Buddha. You can have a method, but method alone cannot become a Buddha. Make sense? So by by doing the ritual, we have to, that is called the method. And that ritual is meditating with the union of the emptiness and compassion, that is wisdom. Then can become a Buddha. So only wisdom is the main to become Buddha. Why? Because other, other like other practice like a compassion, for example, loving kindness, they cannot eliminate the root of the afflicted emotion. You know, you can have a really compassionate one, but it doesn't mean that you are free from afflicted emotion. So only wisdom can eliminate. Even the meditation, samadhi meditation, cannot eliminate the root of the afflicted emotion. Must have to have wisdom to eliminate. So if you want to become a Buddha, have to have wisdom, because without the wisdom, even cannot become an arhat. Forget about the become a Buddha. So that way Panjana Paramita is called the mother of the all 3 times Buddha, because she is a female as a symbol of the wisdom. I think that reason. Buddha of the 3 times. So that now you become a Panjana, what called the Panashawari. My body has a yellow color. The main body is a body color is a yellow. I have 3 faces. My central face is a yellow. So always when you see the deities, this is generally to give information. Deities central, main face is a central one. That face most of the time comes same color with the body. Maybe there's other color. Make sense? But the center is the main face. So here, center is the heart body, same as a yellow, and said my central face is a yellow, as the same color as a body. Left face is a white, right face is a blue. So other sadhana a little bit different, but this is according to the Jidisungguts. So that way, we have to keep as our tradition. Jidisunggut tradition is this way. Okay, left is a white, and right is a face is a blue. I have a 6 arm. So each face also 3 eyes. Each face have 3 eyes. I have a 6 arms. My lower right hand hold the vajra. You see the picture. And the vajra in the middle, battle axe, and the upper is an arrow. My lower left hand is a dispel the threading mudra, holding the nose, yeah. In the middle, bundle of the leaf, and the upper is a bow. So, so that is what her hand implement. She is holding in her hand. I'm sitting on the white lotus in the midst of the mass of the fire. Then here you can visualize at the forehead, white arm, at the throat, red R, at the heart, blue hum. Visualize that one because it's not mentioned here, but you can visualize that way. And the palm syllable as a heart. In the center, heart is like like this shape as a tent shape. It's the upper part of the heart as a hum. Okay, blue hum as a generally in Latin mind, called the syllable of the in Latin mind, but then a little bit lower part as the inside the tent as a palm syllable. So that is a little bit because we had a few times discussion on the how come at the heart there's 2 syllables. We visualize hum syllable at the heart, and also that particular deity's seed syllable. So in the Panashawari, seed syllable is a palm. So visualizing like heart is like tent like this. And a canopy, under the canopy, under the canopy of the tent, hum syllable, and inside the tent, lower, little bit lower is the palm syllable. I think most of other deity also that way. In La Tara, is a canopy is a hum syllable, and underneath is a thumb syllable. So a little bit that way. So palm syllable, at my heart, transformed into the lotus and the moon with a yellow palm syllable as a top, from which the light ray radiated and invited the wisdom being from their nature abode. So there's a first palm as a that palm transformed to the lotus, and then transformed to the moon. On the lotus and the moon at the heart, then on that, then you have to visualize in the seed syllable palm. So there's a two palm. First is a palm syllable for the lotus. Another one is a palm syllable of the Panashavari. That is actually the deity. You know, like human beings, our heart is the actually truly to ourself is the heart. Make sense? If our appearance is the ourself, then you are no longer yourself. Because if you compare to your childhood photo and now, nothing is similar.
I hope just the same.
I don't think so. No, I don't believe anybody is the same. Yeah, so that way our heart is the same. I think similar, something like that. So that way, truly deity is that seed syllable, the palm, what we're visualizing. And they say the palm is don't have to be like sometimes people think as like this, you know, palm as a standing on the moon like this. Maybe like more like you know, through the moon as like a mirror. Palm is appearing through the mirror. It's like something like that, more like not solidly, totally separated one. You know. So then from that too, we have to invite in the wisdom beings. So wisdom being inviting by radiating light from the Om Ahum, and especially palm. Then that light inviting, when inviting, there's a mantra, Mudra, Za Hum Bam Ho. This is a Za as a hook, Hung as a lasso, Bam as a chain, and Ho as a what called the bell. So this is also have to do this way. When we're talking about the generation stage, there's mainly 3 characteristics, but sometimes there's a 6 also mentioned, because the other three can be part of the first 3. So first 3 are called the clarity, purity, and divine pride. Clarity means that you have to visualizing clearly image of the deity by using statue or picture or something and try to become like that. But purity means that you have to know the meaning of the pure meaning, why she is that way, you know, so it have an inner meaning. Then divine pride means that you need to be confident of I am the deity. So this one is a help by this one. First it said, when that divine pride is first said, also there's other 3 said, empty by nature. So appearance of the deity's body cannot be visualizing as a like statue or human, you know, flesh. It's have to be illusion body. So that way I call the empty by nature. And empty by nature.
Shunya.
Sorry? I forgot one. And this is called, the one is called naturally inseparable. Naturally inseparable is that you and the deity naturally one. They call the divine pride. It's similar like divine pride. You know, it's like you manifest. So here, what is related to this four mudra is Za is like a hook. The wisdom beings, bring from the Pure Land to front of us. So that way, the first one said, summon, it said the summon by Za, and absorb them. It means that by whom that rope put together. Okay. Then it said united with them. It means that they become inseparable. By bum as a chain, they make inseparable. And they put the rejoice here, rejoice. I think it's better translate as a delighted. Because delighted means that now what we visualizing is called the Samaya beings. And what we inviting from the Pure Land is called the wisdom beings. That Samaya being transformed to the wisdom beings. Make sense? So delight means that they become inseparable. When they become inseparable, no problem. Our problem is that when there's a two, what called dualistic. Dualistic creating the problem. You, me, through you mean to different. So differential create the problem. When those deity are united and become inseparable, then there's a delighted. So what does it mean that even the Samaya being transformed to the wisdom beings, which is mean that Samaya being that what we imagination or our visualization become like inseparable of the wisdom beings. That help us to become a more what called the authentic of a divine pride, or I am the deity now. It's no more, they're more than our imagination. And there's that reason here. So, yeah.
No, that is true because we're all kind of manifestations of emptiness or the Dharmakaya.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that way earlier said samsara and nirvana, yeah. Great bliss. That great bliss, samsara and nirvana is inseparable. Co-emerge empty nature, that inner nature. So that based on that inner nature, there's no wisdom being and Samaya beings. Ultimately, all are one. So that is what is delight mean. Make sense? Now rejoice. I think rejoice is not good translation in this case. In Tibetan, sometimes you can use as that Gyegba as a translate as a rejoice, but here Gyegba is more delight. I think it's better. So then we merge, become inseparable. Again, light ray radiate from the seed syllable. My heart inviting the empowerment deity of the five family gather with their retinue. And Penjakula Sapari Puja Pushpam Partisa Soha, and similarly with the Tubam Alokam Gandhi New Day. So 5 offering to the empowerment deity. Who is the empowerment deity? Is it male and female Buddha, male and female Bodhisattva, male and female Wrathful. It's called the 3 set of empowerment deity. So that for them offering to the offering, first inviting, then offering, then we request Om Sarvatadakata Abhikeza Tumams. It means that we're requesting that those with this I request the empowerment deity to gain empowerment. So this empowerment is called the path empowerment. you receive through your own practice from the deity directly. When you receive it from the guru through the ceremony, is called the causal empowerment. First, you have to receive the causal empowerment. Earlier, I mentioned this, through somebody who received the empowerment from the guru or someone, and that's called the causal empowerment. And through the practice you receive in the empowerment from the deity is called the path empowerment. By that, one day you become completely accomplishment. That's called the resulted empowerment. So this is a path empowerment. So we request Samaya Shri Homes as a bestow. I bestow the empowerment with the water from the vase, which fill my body and purify the defilement, the overflow the water and transform into Amanga city. So when Buddhas, from the vase, you have to visualizing water of the nectar of a bodhicitta pour through your crown. And when it get to reach to the crown chakra to completely fill your whole crown chakra above the neck. Then when it's filled, purifying all the physical obscurations and receive the vast empowerment. Then it continue flow down and fill whole throat chakra. Second is it. Then purify all the speech obscurations and receive the sacred empowerments and continue travel through down to the nectar at the heart chakra. Through the heart chakra to fill whole area of the heart, complete the body and of the heart area until above now. So your body above the navel is a whole filled with the nectar. So you receive the third empowerment called the wisdom empowerment and purify all the mental obscurations. Then continue go down the nectar and through the navel chakra, fill whole your body with the nectar of a bodhicitta through and purify the subtle obscurations. Now you are totally free from obscurations, sickness. Then the water overflowed. When your body is completely filled with the nectar of a bodhicitta, overflowed water. When it's filled with a part, then overflowed. So that overflowed, the nectar transformed to the Amanga city. So that's called the Amanga city. Then crown ornament. Then empowerment deity dissolve into me. Then all that we visualize in front of us, empowerment deity dissolve to you. Then here also offering is on Pishaze Panashawari Saparevar Argamne Shade Bajusho. So in this one, offering to the deity. Now yourself as a deity, how you offering deity? So you have to manifest. Some saying is from your heart, manifest an offering goddess. And some saying is manifest yourself as an ordinary person in front of you. And that one is offering. So there's a two-way. You can manifest yourself as an ordinary one in front of the deity mandala, that what you visualize in deity. An offering, or you from your heart syllable, palm syllable, manifest as an offering goddess and offering to the deity. So some things being the person who offering, the being who offering to the deity manifest from your heart. Your ordinary body or offering goddess, either way. And a goddess who hold the flower, who hold the water, who hold the incense, who hold the lamp, who hold the perfume, who hold the food, music, that kind of goddess manifests from of you and offering to the deity. And those also offering substance of the water, flower are as come from the divine water, divine flower, not ordinary one. Okay. So those are offering to the deity of the Panashavari. After your body, speech, and mind have been blessed, you have been granted the empowerment, you have meditated on the syllable of the empowerment, symbol of empowerment, and so on. Recite this verse of the praise of the goddess of the Panashavari. So after the receiving empowerment, then you have to praise the deity. The praise is the like you pleasing the deity. You know, and if you have a really good melody, you can sing also. There was one story in India, one Mahasiddha, he was practicing Mahakala, never, you know, never recite the praise of the Mahakala every day, but never have a vision. Then one day he heard a local woman working in the field, farm, and they're singing melody. And he sing the praise of the Mahakala based on those melody. Now we call it Vajra song. You know, so based on those melody, and immediately have an appearance of the deity. So I think this is a really good idea of have a, you know, Vajra song. Vajra song means the same as a Toha, is singing that praise or the verse of the whatever. So praise is said, out of the mandala of the Dharmakaya, great bliss, you protect, gain dangerous disease such as a epidemic and against the untimely death. I pay homage to you, mother of the wish fulfilling activities. So said, from out of the mandala of the Dharmakaya, it means that she is a Dharmakaya. All the enlightened beings reach to the Dharmakaya, but they manifest from the Dharmakaya. Make sense? Yeah. So without that, they reach into the Dharmakaya. So she's originally Dharmakaya, have achieved the Dharmakaya, but manifests as a deity that pure, you know, free beings free from the epidemic disease, and also untimely death. So untimely death means when we have a sudden accident, you know, sudden way to death. Lots of people who died from the COVID-19, they are untimely death. Make sense? So there's a lot of who died with untimely. I'm not saying all the young ones who are untimely death, because some have only that much lifespan. It's not necessarily untimely death. But there's a certain beings when they are, you know, good karma is low, and condition can cause them to death before that their time to come to death. Yeah, so there's a lot of beings who died with the untimely death, you know, unfortunate death. So she protects from that. Golden color Panashavari, so that's her body is a golden color, sitting on the lotus seat. Your main face is a yellow, and right face is blue, and left face is a white. Your hair is a bound up and a top knot, and you are full of a splendor. I pay homage to the divine form of the goddess who gained the accomplishment. So also this is not just only, you know, protection from the epidemic disease, also gain the accomplishment, you know, common accomplishment and uncommon accomplishment. So that is showing us that she possessing all the enlightened activities. You know, accomplishment is a increasing activities belong to that. So, and I think this is like purifying the disease, and those are peacefying activities. And you are the embodiment of illustration one. Yeah. Illustrate the wisdom one. You are the embodiment of the wisdom and compassion. You dwell in the midst of the mass of the fire. which is burning like the fire at the end of the time. With your 3 faces and 6 arms, you look terrifying and wrathful. I pay homage to you who has 1 leg outstretched and 1 other bent. So this is I think wrathful activities. So she's wrathful is also have to have come from the compassion. You know, our wrathful is come from the anger. Deity's wrathful come from the compassion. That is different. So that way our wrathful end with the suffering, deity's wrathful end with the joy. So met of the fire, especially I think this they're saying is a this kind of disease is related to, especially this the COVID disease is related to the cold. So fire as a heat and free from the disease is really good with the fire because it's heat. Okay. Okay. Wearing robe of the leap, holding the bow and arrow, battle axe and bundle of the leap. Panashawari, you display the threading mudra and hold the vajra. I pay homage to your great mother of the protecting all beings. So this is how she, you know, what she wearing, what she carrying. So, but she is also pay homage to the great mother protecting beings. So why she is, you know, manifesting as a form of wrathful and carrying this kind of like weapons and the things that hand implement those all is what appearance is. The only main reason is how to protect in the sentient being from the, you know, suffering and cause of suffering. So I think especially wrathful manifestation as a protecting us from the cause of suffering, because the fearsome make us to scare. That way we listen. You know, I mean, like a government giving us a punishment when we break the law. That fearsome, that is a fearsome, you know, scary. That because of that punishment, people don't commit the crime, try to be less. You know, if there's no punishment, I think we're out of control. So similarly, sometimes deity have to be manifest as a wrathful to protect us from those kind of yes.
What you're describing makes me think of a mama bear with her cubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has all the methodology to protect them.
Yeah.
To nourish them, to heal them,
Yeah.
to do whatever. Don't mess with her.
Yeah.
But she'll just keep walking along.
Yeah.
Don't mess with her.
Yeah. I think human mother too. Yeah, I think human mother too. Because I think when it comes to the child, she become a fearsome. I saw one image, you know, one woman is fighting with a tiger because she wanted to protect her son. Really, she jumped to the cage. I don't know if she survived or not, but that kind of courage comes when it comes to the child. So yes. So the enlightened beings, for them, sentient beings are like a child. Their loving kindness is similar like that. So that way, sometimes they have to become a wrathful to protect us from that, because we're not listen, we're a spoiled child. Then I said a visualization to the, you know, recitation mantra, visualization during the mantra recitation. Crown of myself as a Panashawari considered as a 5 Victoria one. It means that the Panashawari have a 5 Victoria one, means the 5 Buddha. You know, the crown, that is crown, 5 crown. You see the enlightened beings, you see the 5 crown, that's symbol of the 5 Buddha. Wrathful one, 5 skull, that's also symbol of the 5 Buddha. So that is actually a sign of an enlightened one. Worldly beings, they don't have that sign. Okay, so Panachawari, you can see this. She's wearing those 5 crowns, each head, 5 crowns. So that's the 5 Buddha. From their heart flow the stream of the milk, nectar, filling my body, thus visualizing in this way, and all wrongdoing and obscuration are purified. First is we visualize in this way, too, then recite the mantra. So this is a, I think there's two set of visualization, one recitation mantra. First is purifying yourself, because without yourself purifying, without yourself liberating, you cannot liberate sentient beings, other beings. So if you want to help other beings, first you have to help yourself. So now this is visualization, mainly from the yourself as a Panachawari. From Panachawari's 5 crowns of the Buddha's heart, nectar of a Bodhicitta manifests, and this nectar is a, I think maybe generally this nectar of whatever nectar producing from the deity. They say is in the summer, if the weather is too hot, you can visualize it. This is a cool steam of a nectar. And the winter is too cold, you visualize it as a warm, like milk, you know. But and also certain people have their own different type of sickness. So this particular disease, like pandemic, you know, COVID-19, say sickness that is related to the cold. You know, cold sickness. So they say you have to visualize it as a warm nectar producing from the 5 Buddha's heart, and purifying all ourselves and cleansing and completely our bodies filled with the nectar of a bodhicitta, form of a white, like white milk. This is like they say it's a crystal, a vase is completely filled with milk, you know, that kind of. And when that nectar is, washing away, also from that nectar to washing away all our sickness, obscuration, negative karma, and whatever we have. And particularly if you have some particular sickness, you can visualize on that particular one and visualize. So certain people have like a heart sickness. I think heart problem is a heart, you know, heart disease, and I'm not sure that lung is, but certain things are hot, you know, temperature problem. And like a kidney and I think liver, those are cold problem. So if you have that kind of problem, then you're visualizing also warm nectar. So if you have a disease that related to the heart temperature, then you have to visualize it as a cold steaming nectar. If you have a disease that is related to the cold temperature, then heart temperature nectar, visualizing and purifying. Bishadze mean the like a spirit. Prana shawari. Prana, I think leaf. Shawari mean the forest. Sarva mean the all. Mari Parshamane is purifying, all disease purified. So I think Mari is an illness, Parshamane is purified. So requesting to her, please purify all those disease, wounds. So that is a mantra. And I'm sure if you're reading other commentary from the other, then you will see some area, there's some different mantra. Okay. It doesn't matter which one, and just do that clearly. So they said this recite as much as you can and focus on that and recite that many times as you can. So this is the protecting oneself. Then other one is visualizing in the region, country, or wherever you wish, all space in the field with the 5 Sugata and the goddess Panashawari. From them, stream of the nectar flow down, filled with the body of the disease, and the region or country, and all the disease of the harm are pacifying. So there's another way to also visualization. This is a one to visualization, but this one is you're visualizing space is completely filled with the 5 Buddha family and Panashawari, many of them. So from their body to rainbow light of nectar produce and pacifying all the sickness or region. Or right now, our whole world is we are facing this challenge of the pandemic continually. Some, because of the I think most of government, because of the economic, mandates like wearing face masks and mandate is the end. It doesn't mean that disease is end. So disease is still harming continually. So we can visualize the whole planet as purifying by the nectar of a bodhicitta from those 5 Buddha family and Panashawari. And also, if you have a specific one, sometimes you can do from the Panashawari yourself as a Panashawari's heart. There's a palm syllable. What called the radiate the light of heat and burn out all the disease and sickness, and from the hand implement and make the disease burn out is make it smash like a dust. Then again from the body radiate the light, and that dust is completely washed away with the wisdom wind. Then again from Panashawari's body, what called the produce the nectar and wash away all the remaining one. So you can elaborate it this way, visualization. Burn, dust it, and blow away and wash from the Panashawari. You can specifically visualize on the, if someone who really need to pray, you can do that way. So this one is a part of the performance. So if you have an accomplishment and approaching as successfully, then your visualization of this performing is becoming more successful. Yeah. So that reason you have to emphasizing mostly emphasizing on the first mantra, purification of yourself. The mantra, it's the next one is also same. Then conclusion is you have to offering. This offering is saying is a thank you. When somebody did to some things, you have to thank them by gift or thank them by something. Normally nowadays thanks by the paying the bill. So you have to thanks by something when you're receiving that. So here in the one from the deity's meditation practice, we have to conclude thanksing by the offering. Same visualization, you can visualize in the same way from your heart, offering goddess manifests and offering to the deity. Those goddesses holding the, water for the drinking, water for the washing feet, flower, incense, candle, perfume, food, music, all those holding and offering to the goddess of the Panashavari and thanking. And prayers is said, you protect against danger, disease such as a epidemic and against untimely death. I pay homage and praise you, mother of the wisdom filling activities. Then that one is a kind of like these two are offering and praise as a thanking to the, to the deity. Now, here said, whatever I could not procure, whatever has a deteriorate, and whatever I did with the diluted mind of a made other do, may you forgive all that. So this is maybe whatever are not procure mean that
obtain or get.
I not have like that, couldn't arrange, okay, not have enough. So and especially because of the diluted, we make mistake. Sometimes people think, long as we don't have intention, it's okay. So negative action with the intention, without the intention. At the moment of the action, the time with the intention is a greater. But over time, can say over time, and without the intention is becoming greater. Because when you have done something with the intention, it's slowly you will regret. So because of the regret, it reduce, make less. Then because of your regret, if you get chance, you will purify them. But if you don't have a knowledge, or without the intention, if you done something without the knowing, then you have, first of all, you never had regret. Then you never try to purify them. Then over time, it becomes greater. So it's just like Buddhism said, if you have a box, wooden box, it's big. But if you throw in the water, it will flow on the water. But inside the wooden box, there's a small ball. Its size-wise, it's really small. But if you throw in the water, it immediately sinks under the water, directly run to the. So similarly, that is with the intention, even you did big negative, eventually it's become smaller because you have knowledge about it. But if you done something without intention, without knowing, then even it's a small size. At the moment, it's small, but it becomes heavy. Make sense? So especially we have done something without the knowing, then we need to confess. So that way here, confessing through the recitation mantra of 100 syllables. That's the Samaya. Then called the word of auspiciousness. May the great Vajradhara, the true Lama, gain the auspiciousness, who is the essence of the Buddha, all the Buddha, gain the auspiciousness of the goddess of the Panashavari to all being of the three realm, without the exception, and to myself. So we are requesting the auspiciousness of the blessing from the Guru. The Guru is also to Vajradhara. Why Guru Vajradhara means that we have to see Guru as a Dharmakaya. Because until you see Guru as a Dharmakaya, your devotion is not complete. So for completion of the devotion, you need to see Guru as a Dharmakaya. So that way said Guru Vajatara. And that is the essence of the all Buddha. So Guru is the embodiment of the all Buddha. And through the Guru's blessing too, we receive the auspiciousness of the Panashavaris. Auspiciousness of the Panashavari means the receive the blessing or the good sign. Auspicious is a good sign, good result. So comes. Then called the Aspersion Prayers. Glorious Goddess Panashavari, you liberated all other and myself from the infliction of the great harm. Having taken refuge in you, Supreme Goddess, please protect us from all the dangers. Thus recite dedication and Aspersion prayer. So I said, in brief, the practice of the Panashavari is certain to be accomplishing by the pure mind stream, love, compassion, and bodhicitta. So what is necessary for condition practitioner? Bodhicitta and a very clear samadhi. Very clear samadhi means the visualization have to try to clear. One-pointedly meditating, very clear samadhi. In the situation of the infliction of the dangerous harm, great harm, I was free from danger by doing the practice of this goddess Panashavari, the mother who is embodied of the love. Therefore, recalling her kindness, I have a compassion, compose this. So let's say because of that practice. By this means, may all achieve the supreme awakeness. What the supreme awareness means? The Buddhahood. This complete the practice method of supplicating the goddess Panashavari request by the Tulumba, the great spiritual friend of everyone. So there's one monk come from the Tulung region. Tulung is one area. So I don't know what is his name actually. So sometimes in Tibet, people just call the name of the region. Then lots of time there, because of the nickname, we forget to the actual name. So Geshe Tulumba he's from Tulung region. Tulung is one region's name, area's name. So he's from there. So I don't know what is his really name. He requests to the Jiten Sumgun, so Jiten Sumgun wrote. Now this is from the holiness. The presence of all region of the world are affected by the terrible epidemic. May this complexion of the quintessence from the Panashavari sadhana written by the Drigun Choba Jida Sungun range accompanied by the single-minded supplication to him. First all the pacifying the epidemic, and furthermore the karmic afflicted and cognitive obscurations. Karmic, afflictive, and cognitive obscurations. So there's a three. Karmic obscuration mean like certain lots of time we want to do something but not happen. Something else comes. The obscuration comes. Lots of time is nothing happen because of the obscurations. There something else come out. So because of that you couldn't do, or because of that you couldn't go. That is called the karmic obscurations. Then called the afflictive obscuration, mean that whenever we have an afflictive emotion, anger, hatred, jealousy, that kind of afflictive emotion, we are obscurate from the happiness. And cognitive obscuration is not really have that strong afflictive emotion, but seed is still there. Seed is still there. Like a smoker people, They don't have an urging of want to smoke. It's always there. But even you don't have an urging, but seed is there. Because of that, later it come back. You know, your brain have that come back. So that there's some kind of like a, can say imprint?
Yeah.
Some kind of imprint or some kind of habitual tendency there.
Yeah.
You know, subtle. So that one is cognitive obscuration. So these three obscuration and joyfully lead to us to be supreme state of the complete awakening. This was well arranged by the Gyawan Degumba Tileludu, is our holiness, in the American Degung Center, Gyoba in the Iron Mouse year 2020 on the 15th day of the month of the miracle and entering into the computer by Kuncho Chuan. May this virtue may be virtuous. So Holiness wrote this one, and at that time I asked Holiness, because some people request to the transmission, and I asked Holiness, can I do the transmission? And Holiness said, if you have a, the Jidesungun's, you know, collection of the text transmission, you can give the transmission. So I received the Jidesungun's all the Kambum transmission from the Holiness. So then Holiness said, then you can give the transmission, because this original come from that. Holiness only add few of them, but few other things what he add, I already have transmission from the other texts. So I can say this is, I have all the transmission, so I can give this. Mr. Cohen, to the Jaconan, the Jinja, Lord Jinja, Gonda Pama, the Vachelo, Rashi, Jabajama, Yamal, Bender, Roman Hamonchalo, Sonia, Jabokuna, Jungse, D, Tambokona, Wonder Gida, Bajabatin, Casanyama, the Tuba, the Lejola, Juba, National, Managancha, the Chajan Yamaton, and Tambalas, you don't watch Chizumalas of Enya, then Shacho, so Danji Chabaja, then the Shacho, the Sunday. Someday, like in Sanji, but the problem is Sanji Dober show, Manang sent that what they do to one of the woman. You reach out in the Tibetan Majosis, the Tages of which Chengo, Chanju sent the Sona, almost supposed to Southman, Chetaja, Domana, Shintamata, Comba, Ranji Sheba, Pom Sabo, you were Sala, Della was a trebe. Since the numbers of the Tibetan was to